Dear Santa, it's been a while since I sent you a letter wishing for something at Christmas time, and while most people will laugh and say that you're fake and made up because of some Coca-Cola ad in the 1900s, I personally laugh at these people because they're the same ones that believe in God and Allah and Yahweh and Jesus and Moses and all that stupid shit. Same people that believe in a 2,000-year-old book and that their invisible and imaginary people are real, yet you're made up. Hey, look, at least you have imposters showing up at the mall each year to scare the shit out of little kids taking pictures with them. So, I figured I would send you my Christmas wish list, hoping you can make shit happen. And look, don't go give me that naughty nice list bullshit. I live in New York, motherfucker. This is as nice as you get from us. So don't go giving me a lump of coal or anything. You go give that shit to the YouTube owner who could go fuck himself. So, now that I'm in a festive mood, here's my gaming wish list that you should get to work on. At the very top of my list, and probably at the top of almost everyone's list, please don't let Mass Effect Andromeda suck. Of all the fucking games that need to be on point, that's the one. It's been in development for fucking years now, and although I do give BioWare the benefit of the doubt, and I hope that they will learn their lesson from the prior 3 games and create something fantastic, can you please send an elf or 2 over to their studios in Vancouver? Look, that shit is pretty far north to begin with, so I'm sure it's not too far from the fucking North Pole. I'm sure you can spare a top-notch elf or something to visit BioWare to get their shit together. Now, on my wish list, I want another solid campaign. You know, because it's a new story, that gives the writers a lot of wiggle room to create a better story and start the branching paths of the storyline. You know, unlike Mass Effect 3, where they had to tie everything together and tie up all the loose ends from the prior 2 stories, this is a brand new narrative. They can set the paths this time, as opposed to having to conclude all of them. So I feel like this should be an easier thing for the writers to be able to do. Multiplayer needs to be on point again. You know, the waves of enemies were fun and whatnot, but they need to fix their goddamn servers, man. Oh god, getting booting out of all those fucking games all the time was irritating. So make sure they have better hamsters running around a hamster wheel powering their servers or some motherfucker. Also, I want some cool aliens, and not just the motherfuckers we already know. Make some good goddamn aliens this time around. You know, some really fucked up alien-looking enemies with tons of powers and shit, variety attacks. That'd be a much better option than some of the shit that they were already throwing at us. And can you please talk some sense into the motherfuckers who are making this game pay to win? Apparently, some jackass in an interview that they're gonna keep up that paying for packs of money in games and shit like that. You know, where you purchase shit for an RNG chance of getting crap. But in addition, people will also have the ability to outright buy the weapons that they want. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Don't turn this whole game into RNG and pay to win. You know, give us options on unlocking the stuff through the game. Let progression happen. Let natural unlocks occur when you perform certain tasks, as opposed to hoping for shit or just paying for it outright with money. That's just fucked up. And since you're the dude that brings presents on fucking flying reindeer, I'm sure if you show up, someone over there will fucking listen. Guaranteed. You show up with Rudolph and this motherfucker, oh yeah, they'll listen to you. So make sure you get over there and talk some sense into those bitches about that. Next on my list, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Now, I don't give a fuck what the sales figures were for the game. That was way before Marvel movies ever became popular.
Amazing.
That was before shit took off and they were selling out theaters each and every summer. At this point, Activision needs to bring that shit back. It has an added incentive. You can let me take the reins of the game and the storyboard because I can make shit happen. Send an elf or 2 or whatever the fuck over to Activision and tell those motherfuckers that they can certainly make money off of this shit. I mean, Disney and Marvel are sitting on piles of cash at this point, so you know there should be residual money to be made. This game is long overdue, and I know I'm not the only motherfucker that wants this shit. And plenty of people will play this thing for hours with their friends with improved online capabilities, newer consoles, better graphics. They can easily take this game from the cheesy plot lines and stories that they had before to something on par with the movies. And the DLC could easily add more characters, more bad guys, more missions and all that other shit. Hell, there is a PC game out there called Marvel Heroes that is still around and kicking after all these years. And it's really very similar to what Marvel Ultimate Alliance was supposed to be. It started out real shitty, but has managed to stick around and stay alive for all this time. So it shows there's enough fan interest to keep this kind of franchise going. By putting me in charge of that shit, I can write out the story, say what characters I want, say how I want the game to look like, what puzzles and gameplay options. I'm telling you, we can make money off of this shit. So add that to the wish list of things to get done this year. Next item, Destiny 2. But make sure that fucker releases later in 2017, like September or whatnot. You know, I don't want the game clashed with Mass Effect because I want to be able to enjoy both without having to pick and choose which one that I want to play. Look, for all its mistakes, for all its shitty ideas, costly fucking DLC to make the game worth playing, Destiny still manages to be a game that people like playing together because they absolutely nailed the mechanics of the game. Bungie knows how to make shooting games feel better than their competitors. There's no question about that. Their issue is the fucking storytelling and lack of shit to do. I'm betting they learned their lesson in Destiny, and they're gonna make Destiny 2 a whole lot better. Right now, Destiny 1 has made major improvements since the launch. There's no question about that. And those who left the game at the time, all those months ago, would probably find that this game has made drastic improvements. It's not perfect, and it certainly has fucking flaws beyond belief, but it's shown major improvements from the $60 vanilla package that they sold to us that was completely unfinished. That being said, I think Destiny 2 is going to be an improved product. And with Mass Effect Andromeda, my body can't handle 2 space games at the same time. So they need to space that shit out. Have Mass Effect released at the end of March like they're anticipating, and then release Destiny in September like it always releases, or even a little bit later like that, so that way I can get some more Mass Effect gaming time in. But otherwise, make sure they don't release at the same time. There's just no way those 2 games could compete against each other, and I would have enough time to play both of them. Wish list item number 4. Don't let Capcom fuck up Resident Evil 7. Look, I'll be honest, the series got quite stale after the same stupid shit over and over and over again. You know, there are only so many fucking forms of the T-Virus, and the G-Virus, and the C-Virus. Oh, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Tanner, how do you let that shit happen all these fucking years? Anyway, listen, it looks like the series is going back to its straight-up survival horror roots. It looks like they're copying Outlast, or taking some shit straight out of Saw, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and to be honest, that's a good thing. Look, I've been playing the series for 20 fucking years, ever since the beginning. The first one was a great start. You know, it was in a creepy mansion, with science experiments gone wrong and all that other shit. But since that point, it's gradually turned into more of an action shooter than an original survivor horror game. Now, obviously, the mechanics and the graphics of PlayStation 1 are not on par with what we can do today. But Resident Evil 1 was not a true action game. Resident Evils 5 and 6, though, they feel like straight up action games with absolutely no elements of survival horror other than the fact they're fucking monsters and zombies or whatever the fuck. So if they are officially going back to their roots, good for them. I hope this is a great game, and I hope they learn their fucking lessons, because after all, Capcom is kind of relying on ridiculously old franchises at this point. Street Fighter has been around forever. Mega Man goes back to the original Nintendo. Devil May Cry is getting up there in age. And even that crap, what is it? Monster Hunter is going on 13 years old? Come on, man. Capcom could really use a good kick in the ass for something decent. So please, Santa, make sure they have their shit together for this game. Don't let them fuck up another Resident Evil. Make sure this Resident Evil comes out as a true survival horror game as opposed to an action game. That could possibly return the franchise back to what it normally was. Now, my final wish list item is a little bit trickier. This is not as easy as sending an elf or 2 over to a studio or having Mrs. Claus toss someone's salad. This one needs you to call in a few favors and probably grease the pockets of a lot of greedy motherfuckers. But since you're a jolly old fat man, maybe they'll actually listen to you. My final Christmas wish list item is to bring back NCAA football, because that shit was the best fucking way to play sports games. Now, this isn't Marvel Ultimate Alliance where Activision just needs to go renew their license agreement and create a game with all the fucking Marvel superheroes. This isn't asking for a release date like Destiny, because obviously NCAA isn't even in development right now. This goes beyond EA Sports, one of the greediest fucking companies on the planet, but they actually had no issue paying the royalties associated with this game. This request asked you to pretty much break your foot off in someone's ass over at the NCAA, telling off all these scumbag schools like Notre Dame, Ohio State, Nebraska, Alabama, and Kentucky. They need to get the fuck over themselves when it comes to money. And you're also going to need to explain to these so-called student athletes that their education that they have the opportunity to receive should far outweigh the $200 royalty fee that they feel they're getting cheated out of, and that thinking their $100,000 education potential is not decent enough payment for a fucking 20-year-old. That is going to be required to get this one done. Now look, I get it. This is a big request, because this isn't just about missing a fucking video game. It's about resolving all these stupid fucking common sense lawsuits that show how fucking awfully greedy the NCAA is in the first place, how greedy the schools are, and how ungrateful these fucking kids actually are in the same place. But hey, look, you ride around on a fucking flying reindeer, motherfucker. You live at the North Pole, which is fucking melting. You somehow managed to slide your fat ass down a chimney, eat trillions of fucking cookies in one night, and come back the next year to do that shit all over again. So look, if there's anybody that can get this magic done, you're the person that should be able to get this shit done. I know I'm asking a lot for this one, but if some 2,000-year-old book wants us to celebrate Christmas as the birth of some imaginary motherfucker who turned water into wine, then you need to step up your Holly Jolly Magic game, motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? NCAA was a completely different animal compared to all the professional sports games. You know, professional sports games are basically just roster updates. With NCAA, their in-game were actual roster updates because the athletes were always changing every fucking 4 years. This was the way to play sports. This was the most fun way to play sports. And this is the game that you need to bring back. You know, my Mass Effect, my Resident Evil requests, they're fairly simple. Just make sure they don't fuck up. My Destiny 2 request is really easy. Just make sure they don't fuck up. My Marvel Ultimate Alliance one's a little bit tricky, but then again, tricking Bobby Kotick into wanting more money than he had before doesn't sound like a hard fucking job. But NCAA football, yeah, you could definitely earn some time off if you get this one done. Rudolph, Dasher, Dancer, Comet, Blitz, and all those other motherfuckers, they can go play their reindeer games after you get this one done. So, some Christmas magic needs to happen on this one because I want this fucking game to come back. Otherwise, those are my 5 requests for this year. That's all I want on my Christmas wish list. Just make those happen, and then we can work on some ideas for next year. So sincerely, your favorite YouTuber, JLoco11, asking for only 5 easy items. So anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.